In the last class, we have seen till the part where we have seen complete XPaths, right? And we were taking the site of seleniumtraining.com only we were taking, right? So we have discussed that what are XPaths and what complete XPath is basically. It starts from the root of the document, that is the first tag of the document, HTML tag, and it goes on further in the hierarchy. Now that is something that we have to start from the very beginning. For suppose the site is being restructured and at that time there are some tags which are being added and some tags which are being deleted. So at that time, if we are using the complete XPath, then I might have to change whole of my XPath from the very starting till the end where I want the element to be extracted. Fine. So because of that reason only, we refrain ourselves from using the complete XPath. Instead, we go on with the partial XPath, the relative XPath. Now, how actually relative XPaths are made? If I'll inspect this element, this text that is written over here, Selenium, Python and C# training, this particular element. So if I have to make the relative XPath for this, how will I be starting? I'll be start looking for an element which has the attribute, the optional attribute ID. Fine. Now this particular element does not have any attribute ID. So we will move further to the upper tag. We'll start going on to the upper tag. Now to the upper tag there is a division tag which has an optional attribute class. Now we have already discussed that class is such an attribute which is not used for unique element extraction. It is for multiple element extraction because of the property of the class, right? So we'll move further to the upper tag, then the div tag. Now this division tag has a optional attribute that is the ID. So I can use this particular tag to make the XPath for this particular element. So partial XPaths or relative XPaths are made by using a tag name which has the optional attribute ID. Fine. It is a possibility that the same element also have the ID attribute. So for that also we can make the XPath. That I'll show you in some time, that if same element is having the XPath, then how we can do that. Fine. So suppose I have to make the XPath for this only element, this Selenium Python text over here. So what I'll do is I'll just will hit Control F, and over here I'll start making the XPath by double hyphen. To just make sure that I'm not going with the complete absolute XPath, I'll just will start with the double slashes, and then if I'm aware about the tag name of the element, the tag name of the element whose attribute I'm going to use, whose ID I'm going to use, I can have it over here. Otherwise, I can also have star over here. That's also going to work fine, but that will select the whole page, whole elements on the page. Fine. So right now I know that the tag name is having div. Fine. Over here. Let me just over here. This is the div tag that I'm using and it has the ID attribute. So I'll have it over here as div in square brackets. I'll specify which attribute I'm going to use. At the rate is going, and I'm going to use ID. What is the ID? That I need to specify in single quotes. And the ID of the element is main banner. So over here, this particular element got highlighted. If I have to move further in the hierarchy to reach to the element that I'm looking for, so I'll just will move on the hierarchy that we were having the steps before. So this way, this has made my partial XPath. This kind of XPath is going to be looking like. Instead of this also you can use star. As I said, you can also use star. This particular XPath is also going to highlight the same element that we have been looking for. This way. So if I try to use this XPath, the same kind of output is going to be returned to me, which was getting earlier when I was using the complete XPath over here. So if I have it over here, I already have a module over here. So I'll just will replace the XPath over here and I'll save this. And I'm just going to print the text of this element. Nothing else I'm going to do. I'll just will run this as so over here it has been done. Okay, it's going on. Okay, now over here this is being returning me the address of that element. It's not returning me the text, but it's returning me the element. So if I have to get the text, what I need to do is dot text. Fine. Also, I don't want my extra browser to keep open after the execution is completed. So as to show you the final output, I will take a pause of 5 seconds using the time package. For 5 seconds, my code will be paused, and then after the action will be taken, whichever the command is given for. And then I have the driver dot quit command. I told you about this quit command in the previous classes, what the role of this class is, this function is. So I'm closing the previous browser. So you can see over here that the browser itself got closed. I didn't do anything with the mouse, but it automatically got closed. This quit command is a generic function, so you can fire it on any browser that you want to. Fine. Now this was about making a XPath by your a partial XPath to be constructed by our own. Now it's not like that you can only use the ID attribute only. If you have name attribute as well, that also you can use, but preferably we go on with the ID. Like over here, if I have to use attributes from this particular div, I can use role as well. There is no issue. But class is not going to be preferred over when we are identifying unique elements. Fine. Now it's not like that you have to every time make the XPath by your own. What you can do is, if I'll just remove this XPath that I had made and I want to extract this element. So I can just click on the highlighted part. Over here I'll get the option of copy. So over here for the copy option, you back, Alok?
Sorry for it. Audio was some problem was there. I reconnected.
Okay, now is it fine?
Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so shall I
Yes.
continue or
Sorry for
shall
that.
I give overview because of the audio issue?
No, it's fine. I was following it up. I was able to see it. It was just some murmuring sound in the audio, so I just reconnected.
Okay, okay, okay.
Sorry for it.
No issues. So I was just saying that it's not like always you have to make the XPath by your own. You have tools available to make the XPaths. Like on Chrome, it's not a tool, but it's just a facility that has been provided. You can just right click over this particular highlighted part. You can go to this copy, and over at this copy point, you will get a number of options. You will get to copy the styles, copy the XPath, full XPath. From here, you can copy the XPath. Fine. If you want the relative XPath, go for the copy XPath option. If you want the full complete XPath, the absolute XPath, then you can go on with the full XPath. Fine. This is an option. Coming to the tool which Chrome is having for this function, for this particular role, is a CrowPath tool. Now this CrowPath tool is very useful because along with the XPath, it gives you every information provided, like what is the tag name of that particular element, what is the class, ID, name. It individually informs you every single thing. Along with that, it also provides you complete XPath and it also provides you the partial XPath. So both of them are over here and the accuracy is very good. You can just use the XPath given over here as well, directly as well. Like over here, you can see the relative XPath is given. And just below that, we have the absolute XPath. The tag name of this element is given H1. Fine. The same way, we have another tools on another browsers as well. Like for Firefox also, I can use Firefox as well also to extract the elements. So if I'll just open up and I show you Firefox. So over here, now I'm going to take the same example of this particular element only. If I'll just right click and inspect this particular element, this is being highlighted. Fine. Now for Firefox, there is a little difference. For Firefox, is if you are looking for some element which does not have an attribute ID, it's going to give you the complete XPath. Starting from the first tag of the document, it's going to return you the complete XPath. Like for this particular element, it's not going to give you the partial XPath. If you'll go to this copy option and copy the XPath. So yeah, the XPath that you get is this. This is the complete XPath over here. This is from the Firefox that we have seen before, that how the complete XPath looks like. Why is it being given? Because this particular element does not have any of the ID attribute. The same way, if I look for this particular tag name which has a ID already, the optional attribute ID, then it's going to give me a partial XPath. I'll go to copy XPath, and this is what it's returning me. So this is about the Firefox, why we go on with the Chrome to extract elements, to identify elements. This is the main reason. But there is a solution. You can look for the tools on Firefox. Which tools there are? There are a number of tools available on Firefox. You can have them as an add-on in your browser. What you just need to do is just go to the Firefox browser and look for Firefox add-ons. Now over here, what you need to do is, for what particular thing you are looking for add-on. You're looking add-on for XPath. So you need to have it over here in the search box. And a list of tools will be given to you like this way. You can see there are so many tools available. But which is mostly used are two. There are two mainly used. First is this try XPath. Just click on this try XPath, and over here you will just get an option to add in your browser. Click on OK, allow the permission, and your try XPath will be added in your browser like this. This particular tool is over here added in my browser. This kind of window it's going to give you. I'll show you this on the page over here. Now what this particular tool does is, if you are making the XPath by your own, like you are just constructing the XPath, you are not interested in just copying and pasting the XPath, What you can do is you can just have the expression over here which you have made, and you can check it over here that whether you have made the correct XPath by validating that there is only one element which is being identifying that XPath. Like for example, if I'll make the XPath for this text box, I'll inspect this element and I'll make the XPath, I'll make the partial XPath for this element, which will be like double hyphen input. Now I know the tag name, so I can use it, otherwise star is also working fine. The attribute which this input tag has is ID, so I'll use that, is equals to user input name. I guess there is some spelling issue that I had made. Fine. So I'll copy this, the XPath that I have made. Suppose it's wrong, right? I don't know right now. So what I'll do is I'll just will go to this try XPath and I'll give the expression over here. Once I have given the expression over here, I'll just will click on execute. As many as elements which are being extracted by this XPath will be highlighted in this red colored box, and I'll get the count as well, that how many elements are being highlighted. So there is only one element which is being highlighted, and that has been highlighted over on the screen as well. So this is the use of this try XPath tool on Firefox. The same way I have another tool which is also very useful. For that, just go back to this particular page, and the second tool is XPath Finder. Again, to get this in your Firefox, you just have to add it into your Firefox, give the permissions, and over here this kind of icon you will get for this XPath Finder. So if I'll go back to Selenium Python training over here, so if I'll click on this, wherever I am moving my cursor, it's going to give me the details of that particular element. Means the XPath of that particular element will be given to me. Like for example, I stopped my mouse over at this particular text box and I dropped it. So at the right hand side or the left hand side at the bottom, I will get the XPath of that particular element that where I have stopped my mouse. The same way I can keep on looking for another elements like this button. So this is the XPath. Now it's returning me complete XPath because this particular button does not have any ID attribute prefixed with it that has been used. Fine. So these are the two tools on Firefox that you can use. But preferably, if we talk about the accuracy of XPaths, the Chrome is better than Firefox in finding the elements and extracting them because of the tools and because of that easy method by which you can even get the complete XPath and you can even get the partial XPath. Fine. Any questions, any doubts in the XPath, in the tools or anything? Okay. We have already seen that how we can use this particular locator to extract the element that we have already practically seen over here, right? We have seen the complete XPath as well. We have already seen the partial XPath as well. Now I'm moving further to somewhat which is more better than the XPaths. It's better in many ways, and that is the CSS selector. Now for CSS selector, there are different rules to be written. First of all, over here in XPaths, what we do is we use the tags, right? We use the tags to make the XPath. But in CSS selector, we do not require tags. Tags are not compulsory. If you want to use, you can. Otherwise, you can skip them as well. This is also the way of finding the element on the web page. A unique address is returned, but just that it's quite easy to make and it has a number of benefits as well. You'll see to it what why I'm saying so in just some time. Fine, first of all this. Then there are some syntaxes that we use in CSS selector, like for ID. For ID attribute, we use hash. Fine, like if I have to make the XPath, the CSS selector for this text box, this name text box. So what I'll do is I'll just will put hash and I'll directly will say user input name. So over here that text box has been highlighted. This is the only output that I have got for CSS selector of a particular text box. Then for class attribute, we use dot. Now this class attribute is quite interesting in CSS selector. I'll show you. Just a minute, let me see. Or on this site, I'll be able to show you much better. On this flipkart.com, if I inspect this this mobile number or email text box, you can see over here that this is an input tag with the type text, which is a mandatory attribute, and the rest of the attributes. Over here, the class that you can see over here, this one, if I'll just copy over here, Control C, and I just will have it over here. So you can see over here that there is a space between the class name. This space is having a very means it's very meaningful over here. This specifies that there are two different classes which are being given to this particular element for the look and feel. If I try to extract the element using the class name in XPath, if I'll just go over here and I say double hyphen input, Control F, double hyphen input at the rate class is equals to. So over here I got this element highlighted using the XPath. This works fine in the XPath terminology. But this same is not going to work in the case of CSS selector, because for every class that is being used on an element, I have to specify it. If I'll just go and I say dot the class name which are being given over here. So you can see over here that none of the element got highlighted, because on the element there are two classes used, but I only have specified dot in front of one. So second class is of no meaning. If I'll put dot in front of that, then only my element has been highlighted. This way. So as many as classes are there which are being assigned to the element, you have to specify dot in front of all. Then only you will be able to use the class attribute in the CSS selector formation. Okay, this is for CSS selector. Now as I said that it's not compulsory to use the tags, you can use the tags. If I'll go back on seleniumtraining.com over here, and if I try to make this CSS selector with the help of the tag name, so what kind of tag name it will look like? This particular text box is having the tag input, so I'll say input hyphen the name of that ID, that is user input name. So this is what I got. This also I can do. Okay. Any questions, any doubts till this part?
Just one thing, Preet, I was trying to use the class that is specified in div instead of the tags which is under div. Is there a difference between the class that is given in div under div tag and the class that is given under the tag below it?
No, the classes totally are dependent upon what is the look and feel of the element. The classes are for that. If you use any class
If I
inside,
am trying to find, okay,
yeah, say, go for it.
yeah. So if I am trying to find an object using the class that is specified in div,
Yeah.
and if I'm trying to find an object which is of the class which is given as a tag below the div, so is there any difference or it will be the same? If the element is there, then it will be able to find it out.
It will be able to find it out. I'll be better able to inform you if you'll give me some kind of example on some URL or something like that.
So just in this one only, the tag that you're picking up, just before it there is a div class.
Which one? Talking about this one? This one?
Yeah, so div class, this one, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to find the div class, this one, so this also should be able to find it out, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so there is no difference between if it's under h1 tags particular class or div class, correct?
No, there is no difference in that. Just that why we prefer ID attribute more than class, because ID once given to an element cannot be shared throughout the page with any another element. That will be unique. So it will be better for Selenium itself to look for that element itself just by the ID. If I'll give the class name, then it's a possibility that the class name is being shared by a number of elements. That on the flipkart.com, these two text boxes that I have shown, they share the same classes. Over here, they share the same classes, because of which making the XPath of these two becomes little difficult. So that's why for multiple element extraction, we will go for classes. Otherwise, classes work fine. There is no issue in that. Okay?
Okay, sure. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, where I was? Yeah, I was on the CSS selector. Any questions, any doubts still part in the CSS selector? If you have, you can go for that. Okay. So, now we have seen just the elements which are having the class and ID itself. For suppose I want to look for an element for which I have to move further in the hierarchy, like for this element only. Or let me just have it for some another element. Let me just have it for the form over here. If I look for this element, it's inside a form tag over here. Now inside this form itself, there are a number of elements. It is a name text box, there is an email text box, then contact number, country, message, this captcha box. Likewise, there are a number of things which are inside this single form itself. So I have to look for this message text box for suppose. So what I'll do is I'll just will go for and I'll just one by one look for. This is my name text box. This is my I guess this is my email text box. Yes, this is my email text box. Moving on, I have contact number, then I have country, and over here I have the message text box. So I came to this is the message text box.
Just is one thing.
Yeah.
This is what I was practicing. So if you look at all these input boxes,
yeah,
they have got this div class called col-md6, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So what I was trying to do is that I was trying to print all the elements which are having this class.
Okay.
But it was not able to identify when I was trying to do it, or maybe my for loop was not working properly. Can you just try that one? Yeah, try to find the blocks that are using the class.
You want all these to be printed, means these names, email, contact number, country.
So like this name, the name text box, the email text box and the contact number, they all share the same div class.
Yeah. Okay, no issues, we'll try.
So if I want to print the elements which are having this div class, the col-md6, col-sm6 one.
Yeah. Okay, no issues, we'll try. There's no issue. So this is a div tag. @class is equals to this. So there are 8 elements which are being highlighted. Inside this, if I want to print this name, this is a name, right? So wait, gone. Just wait. Yeah. So the name, the particular text is inside a label tag. Fine. So if I'll go for and I say label.
No, Jaspreet, I want you to use the class name that is just above this tag.
Yeah, I'm using that only. This one
No,
you say?
above MD form. Above MD form.
This one? Above this one. You want to use this one?
Yeah. So can you just hover over it and inspect element on the name text box? Can you do it once more?
Sure. The text box, right? Okay.
Yeah, then inspect it.
Yeah.
Now you see the big one that is coming at the top. So it is having 3 class name if I go by that, right? Div class col MD6, col SM6 and col XS12.
Yeah.
Just above it.
Yeah.
This one. So if can I find with this one?
See, if you want to use this one for XPaths, you have to give all of this, right? If I'll just have this.
Yeah, just by the class name. So can I use it as a class name?
Yes, you can use this. There's
Okay.
no issue. You can use this. So there are 3 elements which are being highlighted. First is this one, this form itself, then the email, and then I have this contact number, and after that it has been changed to some another class. The look and feel has been changed maybe, or something is different over here. So if you want to use this simply, for this if you are trying to print something, you can see over here it's a full box. Inside this box I have a label and I have an input tag. So either I can print a label at a time or I can send a text box. What actually you want to do? You want to print the text, then I look for the label tag. That I can do. That what you can do.
Okay, so here I was doing wrong because I was just trying to put it based on the class name and not looking for the label under it.
Yeah, because see, over here you can yourself see that when I am hovering over at this highlighted part, it's highlighting the full text box, which includes the text name as well and the text box also. So if you have to extract the text, you have to specify that tag name in which that text is written. That is this label tag. If I'll inspect this.
And just if I don't want to go with XPath, I just go with like driver.find elements by underscore class name.
Yeah.
And then use this class name.
Yeah.
So should it be returning me all the 3 elements?
Yes, but for that you have to specify the label. See, that we will see.
With class name I have to give the label as well?
See, I'll tell you that for multiple extractions on a web page, that we will cover in the next classes. I know that curiosity comes up that I have to extract multiple elements, but that will come in some time. Fine. Now you say you want to extract this label, the text written. So what we can do is we'll use the command driver.find elements by tag name, and in the tag name you can give the tag, that is label. So on the page, as many as tags labels are used, the text for all will be printed. You got my point? What I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So that is something different that we will see. That also we will see. But if you're using the class and inside that class you want to look for some the labels or something, the tags inside, then you have to specify the whole XPath. That would be better to extract it. Otherwise Selenium itself will get confused on the page. Okay. So if you want to go this way, you have to provide the full information that inside this division tag, which has this class name, there is a division tag, there is another division tag, and inside that division there is a label. So then only if you look for this particular XPath or you make the CSS selector this way, then it will give you 3 elements and will print the text for that. Now you can see that the text box are not being highlighted, just the text is being highlighted. Fine?
Yeah.
You got the point?
Okay.
You just try this one, you will get the elements printed. Okay?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No issue. So now, what we were about to do was the same kind of thing, that in a form, let's say this form only I'm taking, I want to make the CSS selector. So what I'll do is I'll use the same class that we were looking for right now, and I'll say dot. Now there are three different classes, right? I have to inspect it again. Now over here, there are three different classes. There are spaces between three different classes. So for all of the three, I have to use them and I have to prefix dot. So I'll just will do that. The class got highlighted. Now inside this particular class, I am having labels which I want to print. So CSS selector provides me the provision to skip the whole hierarchy and just directly go to the label. That provision it provides me. How we can do that? The space is very important in the CSS selector. They play a very crucial role. Unnecessary spaces are not required. Now if I just directly want to go to the label, so I'll say space and I'll give the tag name, label. So now this kind of CSS selector has been made by my own practice, this one. Now what it will do is it will look inside this class, and as many as labels are there in this class, those all will be printed for me. I don't have to go inside and I have to write /div and that. I don't have to do that. It itself will look for this tag and will give me the output. This is the use of CSS selector, and it's very easy, just that you need to be careful about the spaces. The same way, if I want to look for input tags inside this particular class, then I'll say input. So as many as input tags are inside, those also will be highlighted like this. You can see only the text boxes are being highlighted, not the text. So this way also you can make the the CSS selector. Now it's not like that you cannot follow a proper hierarchy. You can follow a proper hierarchy. Let's suppose in this form only I want to go to this contact number. Fine. So this is my first text box name. I don't want to go inside this. The second one is email. I also don't want to go inside this. I want to go inside this div. So what I will be doing is, I already have been at this point where my class is this div class. Where it gone? This one. So in the form, inside the form only I'll just will look. This is my form class. It also has an ID. I can use the ID as well. So I'll say slash. Let me just copy the ID. Slash ID. So over here my form has been highlighted. I need to move further to the hierarchy in such a way that I reach to my contact form over here. So in CSS selector we do not follow some slashes or something. Instead of that, we look forward and we just go on with the arrow equals to, colon, nth child. Now for this nth child, all the parallel tags are equal. Be it a division tag, be it a script tag, be it an input tag, all those are equal. Just the numbers are going to vary. Like for over here, this is a division tag. Right, if I'll just will write 1 over here, then it will go to the first division tag. If I'll write 2, then it has been to 2. Likewise 3, 4, without even bothering that what is the tag name, it's just going to take the numbers itself and going to extract that element itself. So now which tag name do I want to access? It's the third one. So I'll just will give nth child 3. Inside this I want to go now to look for this text. So there is another div tag. Again I will have to use the nth child equal colon nth child 1. For this, you every time have to specify you want to go into the first tag, you want to go to the second tag. Every time you have to inform in the CSS selector. After this, I have a label tag, I have a input tag. I have two things which I want to access. I want to access the second one, the input tag. So I'll say slash this icon, this arrow icon, colon nth child. If I'll say 1, then it will highlight the label tag. If I say 2, it will highlight the input tag. This way. So nth child does not differentiate, does not discriminate between the tag names itself, and this is the kind of CSS selector that I have got. Now over here there is nowhere I have used the tag names. If you want, you can use the tag names also. But you need to be careful about the blank spaces. You don't need to give any blank space. Like if I give over here a blank space between this colon and the nth child, my element will not be highlighted. It's not going to extract. Fine. So over here the space is not at all required. If you want, you can have the tag name div over here. Sorry, not over here. Over nth child div. This way you can have the tag names inside. This one. If you want, you can have this. If you don't want, you can just simply skip this. Now if I try to extract this element and want to interact with this element, want to send some text inside this text box, then I'll just will go on. I'll pick the XPath, sorry, the CSS selector, and I'll just will have it over here as, and I'll say driver dot find element by CSS selector, and I'll pass on the selector over here dot send keys 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. This I want to send. I'll save this and I run this. So you can see over here that in this text box, the text that I have sent that got entered and my browser closed itself after the complete and successful execution. If instead of this, if by mistake I did not give the nth child right, I wanted to work with the second one but I gave the number as 1, which is a text itself, then in that there will be no text sent, right? Then in this case it's going to give me an error. Run. In this case it's going to give me a proper error. The browser also did not close itself because my error was there, and over here also I got an error that the element is not interactable. There is no such element that I can interact. Selenium is finding that. Fine. So the CSS selector is easy to make, but you need to be careful. So if I just correct it. Now if I have to make the CSS selector this way, just by having the space, so I can just go on and I say in contact form look for the input tag, which has a ID. I remember the name ID only, so I'll use that, input name. So that only element got highlighted. Over here you can see one element has been highlighted. This way. In the whole form, it itself looked for the input tag which has this ID. If I look for this particular element and look for the ID or class, whatever I want to use, so it extracted the wrong one over here. It has user contact number. This way. If I have to access this way also it's going to work fine. I'll say driver dot find element. Now I'm using the generic function. I'm not using the same function, the generic function. CSS selector, and I'll pass on the CSS selector over here. And I want to send the text 1 2 3 4 5 6, let's say. Now if I use this, okay, invalid locator. Okay, I have to give it this, I have to give it in some another way, maybe CSS selector in some another way. Maybe this way. That I'll see this later, that how in generic function this locator needs to be given, but this function works fine. If I do this in this particular with this command, it's going to work fine. Okay, any questions, any doubts in CSS selector? Okay, so this was about the element extraction from the web page, what the different locators are. The tag names also we will see, but that we will see parallelly when we are working with the Selenium, how we can extract multiple elements at the time using those tag names. Also with the link text, the text, another ways of making XPath. Like there is one more way of making the XPath only. For suppose there on the web page, over here on this web page there is a text written, and I want to access that text directly. I don't want to make the complete XPath or partial XPath. I just want to look by the text only, that what's the text, identify on the web page that where the text is written and extract it. So that also I can do. How? There is a JavaScript function that we can use over here. Like over here I can say the tag name that I'm looking for, like for this top trending one, the tag is P. So I'll say P, you can use star as well. And the JavaScript function is text is equals to, you need to give the text in the double quotes which you want to look for. Like I want to look for this, let's say this training courses. This is a different type of XPath that you can make. For this is absolutely different. This you can particularly use when you are working with the calendars, because you have to pass the date by yourself. You have to select the date according to the number only. So calendars are made in that way only, that on the label, on the P tag, whatever is being used, on that the simple date is written, the digit is written 25, 26, somewhat like that. So over here you can have it like this, the text, the tag name, text function, and the text you want to look for. Like I want to look for day 24. So that only element will be highlighted on the web page. This is another way of making it. Fine. Sometimes we encounter such a situation in which I have some of the constant part and then I have some of the changing numbers. This kind of IDs are also on the web pages. The locators are, sorry, the attributes use this kind of value. Then I have some random text in front, then I have some constant, then again I have some random text. This is also one of the situation that comes up. Then comes up that there is some random numbers in front and then some static point, and then is the full random one. So these are the 4 different scenarios that we may come up while we are working with the news web pages. At that time, the news that comes up, it keeps on changing every day, right? Sometimes a day, after an hour also it keeps on changing. So some of the news follow this kind of value. Either ID has this value, the name has this value. So it keeps on changing. So how this kind of values you are going to use? For this, there are 2 different functions. One is the contains function. This contains will look for the whole value. Either the static one is in the front or either the constant one is in the starting. Means the same value that is not changing. Either it's in the starting, in the ending, in the center, wherever it is, it's going to highlight that element. And then this particular contains function is going to work in these 3 cases. In these 3 cases, it's going to work fine. Along with this contains function, there is another function which will only work for this particular case, and that is starts function. This particular function will only look for the static or constant part in the starting only. It will not look for the center or the side part, just the starting. So this function works for this kind of value of a particular locator. This will work for 3 of the cases. And where I have the totally changing ID, for that I have to make the partial XPath by moving above to the upper tag and look for the attributes like ID, name or something. Okay, right now this particular thing may not make any kind of meaning to you, but whenever I'll encounter such a ID or some locator, I'll definitely will show you that how these 2 functions work, or I'll try to make such a situation in which these 2 things comes in use. Okay. So these are also the part that needs to be in the object identification and you should be aware about. So I covered this as well in this class. So over here, I am done with the object identification. If you have any doubts from the start of object identification till this part, you can just open up and just let me know. If there is an, I'll just will clear this today only.
Whatever you have told, Jaspreet, I'm able to understand. It's just that I'll practice it out, and then if I'm having anything, I'll come to you.
Sure.
Because I remember I used to use this NS style thing.
Yeah.
Like precedent and then descendant and all.
Yeah.
In this NS child. Only thing I was thinking about this colon. Does it the colon just before the NS child? Does it mean like the star that we use in the normal one? Like anything before it?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Can you repeat that, please?
So the NS, so there is a colon before NS child, right?
Yeah.
And for example, if I'm creating an XPath, so at times I don't have to give the exact XPath, and I can use the star which resembles that anything before this particular tag. Similarly, in this way, the colon also means the same. I'm not sure about it.
For colon, you are just specifying that you are going to give some particular element, like you are going to give some nth child which needs to be interacted. In the case of XPath, we use a star where we are not aware which tag name we are going to use. Fine, I am not aware that whether it's a div tag, it's a label tag, input tag, I don't know about that. I'll just use star. That's the concept of star, that select all the elements. I'll specify which ID I want to use. I'll specify that, look for the ID in all the page, and just extract that element from me. In the nth child, this colon specifies that you are going to tell the CSS selector that which nth child you need to use. It's first, second, third, or whatever you are. The tag names are not compulsory in CSS selector. You can just skip them if you want. That is totally different from the star.
Okay. Okay. So I'll basically try this out and then I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Sure, this will be an exercise for you that look
I'll
for
try to practice.
look for a particular website which is good enough to have all the elements and try to do this thing. This will keep your hand, this will set your hand on object identification itself. Okay?
I remember previously Gmail used to have a lot of dynamic values coming up for element locators. I'll just check it out if I can find anything else.
Sure. Okay. So in the next class, also I'll tell you that in the next class what we are going to do, so that if any homework is required, then you can do that. Okay, I'll just will open that sheet for you. From the next class onwards, we are going to start with the Selenium commands itself. Day 5 was today. We completed the CSS selector and we have covered a lot of things with this. In day 6, we have the topics like implicit wait, get attribute function and all this. You can take a look at all of them once. I don't think that there is kind of homework required to do this because this will be from the very starting. But still you can take a look at this, that which topics are going to be covered. And once these topics are covered...
Can you share this Excel with me?
I can share the topics with you. Excel will be a little different because I have a number of sheets.
Okay, so day wise you will be sharing?
Yeah, because I have a number of sheets used in this particular Excel only. I'll share the topics with you.
Okay.
You can just have them.
That's all. You can just copy paste this particular sheet and send it to me because it will be easy for both of us, and if I can go above it, then it will be fine.
I'll do that. I'm sending it to
I don't need the whole sheet, like I've got a lot of stuff in it, just for the Selenium Python part.
I don't know what's it going to look like. I've sent you the whole sheet. If you can understand it yourself.
No, that will be fine. I just want to see day wise thing what you're gonna cover.
Yeah, I've copied everything.
So that I'm well. Yeah. Okay.
So just copy this whole into some of your Excel sheet because after
you have just copy pasted it here.
Yes.
Okay. I was hoping to send an email with the Excel. Okay. That will be tough. This will be really tough.
That's why I was saying that it's going to be tough because sharing the Excel will not be a good part because I don't think that it's possible for me to do that.
Okay, fine.
Still, I'll ask
that's okay.
That whether I can share the sheet or not. Fine.
Just ask Ashish. I think he should share it. I'm not very sure what is.
If he says.
Okay, so I just want to know one thing in here.
Yeah.
So just one thing in here. So like talking about the concept of Python.
Yeah.
And the concept of Selenium going together hand in hand.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have started watching videos of Python specifically as well, just to learn what Python is all about.
Okay.
So would you be taking specifically this data structure of Python and then how all the list works or how the various commands and list work?
Sure.
Or you will be just going through what exactly is required in Selenium. So for example, in list we have got a lot of commands like append is there, pop is there, reverse is there.
Yeah.
So I can keep on learning about it. But would you be going like what exactly is required in Selenium, or you will be covering a bit more in terms of Python?
Like for example, once I encounter such a topic which is important, like when I'm handling the tabs, I'm handling the tabs, that at that time I require the data structure set. So before directly jumping to how you can work with the set and Selenium itself, before I'll tell you the brief about the set and then I'll move further to the Selenium structure. Before these concepts start, I'll give a brief about every topic that is being used. Okay, be it any data structure, be it list, be it
So
dictionary.
like what I'm thinking now, like you're extracting element where the thing has
Uh, Sorry, Alok, your voice is breaking. I could not understand.
am I audible?
Still, it's breaking.
Is it better?
You can send me the question in chat. There is no issue. You can send me it over here.
Just give me a second. Is it okay now or just breaking?
It's better, but it's still breaking.
Is it audible now?
Yes, it's now audible.
Okay. I've taken off my Bluetooth now. So the thing that I'm asking is that in your F column, if you will see that there is a topic called extracting all elements from a web page having thing. Okay. So here will be the column of right? Here you would.
I'm really sorry, Alok. Your voice again is
That,
breaking.
oh my goodness.
I'm so sorry, but it's still breaking.
Okay, that's okay. Fine. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
No issues. If you have any questions regarding the data structures or the Python basics, you can let me know before the class, the next class. Then I'll share the information that you want. Will that be fine?
Yeah, that will be fine. That's okay.
Okay. So just practice this. I'll see you in the next class. Have a great day.
Sure. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.